Hey everybody, this is Perch. I get angry about things, certainly. I get frustrated about things, totally. If you listen to any number of videos, you've heard them. I think this is an example of two types of people that had a reaction. So let me kind of back up a second because there's multiple parts to this story. So yesterday, it's Thursday, so I'll probably get this video out a little quicker to hit the SEO for the timing of the video. I That's not what SEO means. Anyway, I posted up a panel. The panel is from the latest issue of X-Men. I want to say X-Men 18, but that doesn't sound right. Anyway, it's the crossover that they're doing with the Brood storyline that's going on in Captain Marvel. And there's so many puzzling things about this whole thing. Number one, Marvel's actually doing a crossover between Captain Marvel and the X-Men. And one of those is, the most popular superhero in the entire universe, and the other is the X-Men. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But you got a legit crossover between these two books, and this crossover isn't out of nowhere. I mean, when Captain Marvel was Warbird and Binary, and hung out with the Starjammers, and I mean, there's some history here for Carol being in this situation. She took a very kind of an odd team. It's like, I think, all women and Gambit into space to that, my friends, sounds like the writer's poorly disguised fetish right there. Not what we're about to talk about, that one. But anyway, she took a group of heroes out in space, and basically what's going on is Carol gets infected by the Brood, and and shenanigans ensue, and so on. So this X-Men comic comes out, and on the last page of it, so spoilers, but I mean it's not really spoilers. I put the panel in the community section of this channel. Corsair, who is Scott Summers or Cyclops' dad, Havoc's dad, Adam X's dad. Anyway, Vulcan's no, not Adam X. Vulcan. the retconning around here. Anyway, I'm getting too deep a cut at this point. In the last panel, it's the big reveal. It's a big cliffhanger reveal. In this one, you see a bloody and clearly been fighting for his life Corsair is infected by the Brood, and he's like, "I'm making my last stand." It's basically, he see close-ups of him, and he's got a gun, and he's like, "This last bullet's for me," and then they pull back to reveal that he's infected by the Brood. But the problem is that the infection in this case has come in the form of making him look pregnant. He's got a giant kind of pregnant Brood belly, and you see like the little Brood. It looks like a half-eaten croissant, kind of in his stomach. And it's like it's supposed to be the pullback reveal to like, oh my god. The problem here is that so anyway, so I post this panel, and I posted saying, hey, we're going to be pissed about this one too, because a couple weeks ago we had the whole Joker pregnancy and people got really outraged about it. Now, here's my mistake. My mistake is that I believe that by this point, people will have gotten over the Joker pregnancy. For Christ's sake, it was a backup story and it's stupid. And I mean, like, wherever you fall on the spectrum, and maybe I mean that in multiple ways, wherever you fall there, it's dismissible. If you hate comics for being like this today, then I would think by now you'd be pretty apathetic and be like, "Yep, still sucks," and you'd be kind of moving on. I don't, how are you getting so much anger? Some people pointed out to me with the comments on the Joker that, it's like, well, how would you feel if they did this to your favorite characters? Like these are my favorite characters. These are. And I've watched them do all kinds of stupid shit because I've read comics for a very, 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 very long time. So unfortunately, it's not my first rodeo. It's the GIF meme of first time with the two guys at the gallows. That's where I'm at. But or you just look at it and go, this is a stupid Silver Age story, or any number of things. There's a lot of different reactions you could have. With this one, I posted up thinking by now, though, it's been 2 weeks. People will have gotten over it. At this point, it will just turn into the kind of eye-rolling silliness, and so we can poke fun at it. Because if there's one thing about comic fans that is absolutely and entirely true, it's that we have a well-balanced, good sense of humor and a lot of self-awareness. I sorry. Um, I've been told my dry sense of humor doesn't go over well. I said at one point, by the way, this is I get myself into trouble for the dumbest ass things. There was a video I don't know several days ago. A couple people wrote me saying it was funny, but I was saying the people complaining about me. It's like, oh, Perch is boring, Perch is stuffy, Perch's voice sounds faggy, and these are what people write me and tell me, and I'm just stating it like that. And people write in going, that's really not using that word is not sensitive to the LGBTQ community. I'm like, oh my God, please, come on. We should have a sense of humor about things. When did comedy die for all of us? When did it die? Come on. Anyway, so I posted this up thinking people will be over it. They are not. As it turns out, they are not over it, and people are still angry. And now they kind of suspect I'm poking fun at the people who are angry. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, I do not go and scour Twitter for 5 hours to make sure that I'm posting a original and unique tweet. Some of the bigger people who like to get angry all the time had already posted this photo and gotten people riled up about it. And so the outrage was already burning, and I missed it because I was out working and then drinking, and then came home and tweeted without spending hours of research. So and I'm not saying it in my defense. It's just that's what happened. So here's the thing, though. I can understand being angry at the panel. I was angry at the panel. I was angry at the panel because that's not how the brood work. That's the brood do not make you pregnant and then burst out your stomach like kind of like an Aliens knockoff. The brood are an Aliens knockoff. That's not how it happens. And Marvel and the editors and the people involved in this event should know that, because right now, as I mentioned, this X-Men comic is crossing over with Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel is like being transformed. So the brood just kind of take over your body. It just kind of transforms you. You start getting scales. The sand gets in weird places. You lose your dong. I'm kidding. I don't know what all goes on down there. But anyway, you just start transforming. You don't get pregnant. So I looked at that and I'm like, God damn it! Can't these people keep it together, even in the same month of comics? This comic's coming out in the same month. I mean, it's literally crossing over an event that is showing the effects differently. Like, is this comic going to have some wacky and convoluted ass reason that Corsair is pregnant brood versus the other stuff we're seeing in the comic right now, this exact moment? I mean, there's a Cockrum cover with Wolverine turning into, there's fairly iconic scenes of this. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I don't know, it was when Jason Aaron's Avengers really started to go, insane off the rails. Thor was turning into a brood in the Avengers, and McGinnis drew it, and he kind of was half brood. And I'm just saying, how do you not know how this works? I mean, when I see this, I'm like, okay, send Duggan back for some more training. He shouldn't be writing this way. Send the editors in, or unless, like I said, in the next issue, we're to reveal that there's some new, species of brood that is infecting Corsair in a certain way, or maybe, and this is possible. I have some dim memory at one point of Kitty Pryde getting infected by the brood and looking did that happen, or is that some horrible fanfic I wrote? I don't know. I mean, I read, didn't write. I would never do such things. Anyway, I seem to recall at one point this came up before. The vast majority of brood appearances have been the other way, though, just body transformation, including the ones going on right now at this exact moment in other comics. So it is possible that Duggan and the editor are like, we're finally going to reconcile this long continuity error to this comic that came out, 12 years ago that had the brood infection looking like pregnancy, and we're finally going to resolve that plot. Maybe. I mean, if so, I will absolutely come on this channel and say, Mr. Duggan, I owe you an apology. You're just trying to uphold comics continuity over the decades. Good for you, sir. But I have my doubts. So that was my irritation. Can't you guys keep it together? The other irritation was this is Marvel trying to inflict male pregnancy on people. Impreg, if you don't have the time to say the whole words or can't spell them. Impreg. And this is there was a deep, one of the funniest comments I saw was that basically Rosenberg did this backup story in Joker, and then Marvel and Duggan saw it and we're like, oh, we're not going to let them get away with being the comic that does the most impreg fetish stuff. We're going to do it too. But that comic came out 2 weeks ago. I don't know how fast you think these guys work. If the Dan Slott documentary taught us nothing, it's not fast. Certainly not 2 weeks fast to read a comic, quickly write it, draw it, throw it to the printers, get it out to Diamond, distribute it. No. So the other theory was that Duggan and Rosenberg are talking on Twitter through DMs. And like, it'd be really funny. Let's make all the men pregnant. I picture it kind of going this way. I think like Rosenberg, why not? I don't know which one would be the initiator, but let's say Rosenberg calls up Duggan and goes, hey, it'll really screw with people on the internet. By the way, I'm aware that I did a video a couple days ago reading from you, one of the people who was part of the X-Slack, talking about how there was this, this basically this open collaboration to come up with something that would piss off the fans, and they ultimately landed on PP joke or PP man in the comic. But this is different. This is not dialogue. This is you basically you have to believe that the two got together and said, let's I'm horny for pregnant men. Maybe Rosenberg's like, I really like pregnant men. And Duggan's like, oh my God, me too. Me too. I've never met anybody who also liked pregnant men. Rosenberg's like, I just wish men could get pregnant. Duggan's like, whoa, careful there, man. Don't say that in public because you're going to get canceled. Rosenberg's like, I know, but we're among friends right now. Friends who like male pregnancy, am I right? Duggan's like, yeah. We're just two birds of a feather. We are. That's what we are. And then it's like, it'd be really cool if we could normalize male pregnancy. He's like, well, how would we do that? It's like, well, let's start putting it in the comic. But here's what we'll do. We'll put it in I'll put it in a backup story in a comic that very few people are reading right now. And you basically do it to a kind of a B character that half the readers don't know and the other half think actually died a few events ago, but somehow back to life for reasons they don't understand. That we'll do it to them. And this will be the first step. And then next year, we'll wait about it. Then we'll lie low. We'll lie low for about a year and a half. Then I'm going to be the Fantastic Four writer at that point. I don't know how I know. I just have a feeling I'm going to be the Fantastic Four writer, and I'm going to introduce that Wyatt Wingfoot is pregnant because of indigenous people spirits, and You'll still be over at DC, but you'll have moved on to Green Lantern. And I want you to do a whole comic where Hal Jordan has to go save a bunch of pregnant men on a planet where men get pregnant. And that's what we'll do. It's like, and somebody goes, hey, do we want to get Kevin McGuire in here? Remember he did that comic a while ago where the men got pregnant and they swapped the genders and all the men were pregnant, and it was in DC continuity. No, it was an Elseworld. We want to get him in on this. Like, no, Kevin McGuire is too expensive. Let's find an artist who will work for like $100 a page. Like, okay. Anyway, I know that's an absurd scenario, and I'm being facetious. This is called humor. I mean, maybe not good humor, but it's an attempt at humor. Here's a problem. I don't look. I read these comics. The tie-ins suck. I have to, in order to go down that path that several people are going down right now, that this is all big, plotted out conspiracy, I have to believe that the people are capable of pulling that off. And I just don't. I know several of you have said in the past that you can't, stupid and evil aren't mutually exclusive. I agree, but when the subject of the plot is a coordinated plan, I mean, I know I don't buy it. I don't. Male pregnancy, for what it's worth, has been used in entertainment a lot, and it's usually used in entertainment for horror purposes. Just kind of disgusting body horror. And I know I just pissed off a whole other group by saying that, but that's how it's been used. Ridley Scott has a good interview talking about the body horror and the kind of the violation, and why, you know, having this kind of stuff happen is most impactful. And it's not because Ridley Scott secretly goes into a bedroom at night and furiously masturbates to the idea of, or, you know, to a VHS copy of, what was it, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Was that Twin? No, it wasn't Twins. What was it? I don't remember. Anyway, the one where he was pregnant. I used a clip the other day, but I cannot remember. The Junior? Is that what it was? I don't know. This was during the stage where a lot of people wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to make action movies, and he started making like comedy movies, and you know, it was an '80s staple. What can I say? God, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of that. Anyway, um, I know. I don't think. I think that a lot of this. I think the simplest answer is